Hi guys, it's Holly here and...
I'm Lane Norton and welcome to today's video. No, I'm Noah Lee. I like to think I'm Lane Norton. No, I'd rather be Noah Lee. Alright guys, welcome to this week's video. Anyways, I'm going to try and be a little bit more personable this week.
Yeah, apparently you got some negative flack in last week's video.
Yeah, I was a little bit camera shy. I'm going to try and keep my eyes a little bit more wide open. But yeah, welcome back and thanks for following along, guys.
We are at week 2 of the series, I suppose, for Noah. Although you are how many weeks into your diet now? You're probably
maybe
7?
like, yeah, 7-ish probably.
Yeah, we'll be able to see when we go upstairs and check his spreadsheet. But this week has been probably an interesting week for you in that it is a diet break, or you've just started your diet break, but we're kind of summarizing like the last 7 or so weeks of how things have been going for your fat loss. But let's go into the past week. What's been happening for you?
Yeah, so for most of my diet, I've been under 2,700 calories, which is relatively low for me. My maintenance was calculated at 3,200. And this week I got put back up on 3,000 calories and my eyes just got so big when I saw that number. I was so happy.
Yeah, I guess it's probably been pretty challenging for you with your current macros. So I think the diet breaks are always something to look forward to. But on that note, I know for a lot of the people that I work with, the diet break is, I suppose for you it's different because you're educated about the benefits of taking a diet break. So for someone that is less educated in the nutrition space, it can be a little bit daunting. So for you, how did you find, how are you feeling about it all? Like what's your...
Well, at first, so I took a diet break a couple weeks back and actually it ended up, I lost weight on the diet break. So metabolically, that's, not what we're looking for.
Right. So I think that kind of helps to explain why this time we've done a slightly more aggressive of a diet break, because the idea behind that is that the weeks that we take this rest or recovery week is to ensure that your weight remains fairly stable. And this is to help attenuate some of those metabolic adaptations that we can see from a continuous loss, as well as help to preserve like Noah's lean body mass. So his last diet break, he actually lost quite a bit of weight still. So that kind of suggested that we needed to up his calories a little bit in order to actually maintain. So how's it been going this week? Have you noticed your weight is kind of just steadying out, or?
Yeah, so the weight has been pretty steady. I mean, yesterday I had a relatively big, I probably had a 1,400 calorie meal last night, and I feel a little bit watery today, but the weight's staying the same. I'm actually just waiting for it to go up a little bit so I can be like, Holly. My weight,
I told
weight's
you.
going up.
No, well, we did quite a bit of math I kind of went through it and explained it to you, and it kind of falls in suit with how we would go about looking at the Mueller equation. What else has been happening this week with your training? So obviously you're in a diet break and you've got a little bit more calories to kind of play around with. How has that affected your day-to-day, like energy levels, training, all that kind of thing?
So the best thing about a diet break, and mentally for me, which I really like, is that I just get that mentality that I'm gonna go into training, I'm gonna up the volume and, I don't know, get some sick pumps.
Yeah.
Like just go hard. And that's what's really nice about a diet break, is you kind of feel like, reminiscent of when you weren't dieting, which is really nice.
Yeah, so what we can often see in the situation where you're doing a diet break, or even for people doing a reverse diet who are like gradually increasing their calories over time, is that you have this newfound level of motivation to train really hard, because there's obviously that little, bad guy in the back of your mind saying, oh, you shouldn't be eating this many calories, you should be working,
Right.
or I don't deserve them, whatever that is. So we often see people tend to increase their energy expenditure during their training. And obviously you've also got more calories coming in, so hopefully your energy levels are feeling a little bit better. So Noah, when we're working with clients, what do you tend to recommend during the weeks where we have a diet break as far as training is concerned?
Yeah, up the volume, a couple extra sets per exercise, and just feel like you're getting the most out of those calories. I mean, you're gonna wish that you did when you get put on your calories after a diet break.
Yeah, so a little bit of strategic planning with your programming. So that's really something that's important if you're working with hopefully you're working with one coach for your nutrition and for your training, so that they can kind of coordinate that to happen together or simultaneously. But if you're not, it's definitely worth taking a look at your program structure and comparing it to your diet. And if you do have these set diet breaks, as Noah is getting to enjoy, you're actually planning some progressive overload during that period, so that you can get more out of your overall training cycle. So is there anything else this week that you wanted to chat about with your weight loss? How is it all going?
Yeah, I mean, it's good. I'm starting to be able to see in the mirror. I'm getting a little bit leaner. That's the tough part about the diet break, because like, okay, I can see a couple abs here. Now I just want to cut calories and, try and get a little bit leaner, a little bit harder. But so I got to take it slow. Yeah,
and I think that's one of the things that a lot of people tend to forget about, is that, good things take time, and everybody wants, to look lean and, shredded overnight. But honestly, moving at a really rapid pace isn't necessarily the best thing. So, a nice slow and gradual rate of loss tends to be better for the end product. If you're thinking about the end game, you want to get down to being super lean, but maximizing that amount of body mass, or lean body mass that you still have, and hopefully keeping your metabolism in check as well. So patience, my friends, is super important. Try not to do this overnight. Like, how many times do we get inquiries about like people wanting to drop, I don't know, a ridiculous amount of weight?
Oh yeah, like 30, 40, 50 pounds before they go on vacation this summer. And there's a really fine line between telling them like, this is so unrealistic, like not happening, but also wanting to keep them like motivated and like, go about it in a sustainable process.
Yeah, I think once you get a little bit of education into people, certainly with our coaching, the clients we work with, we try to educate in that initial kind of communication. So once they're working with you, it's like, okay, here's why what you wanted to do isn't necessarily going to happen, but here's what we propose, and here's why this is actually a better strategy if you're thinking about, the long game. Because, if you rush things, you're probably going to end up right back where you started for various reasons. So.
Yeah, ultimately it's about getting that, client or inquirer to accept the timeline that it's going to take, because that's ultimately one of the most important factors.
Yeah. Well, now let's go and take a look at your data for this past week. We'll see how good you've been.
We'll see.
And we'll probably set up and show you how we actually calculate Noah's maintenance calories.
Alrighty, so you can see my spreadsheet right here. Let's see, starting the diet break, Monday the 22nd. A little bit high on protein.
Oh yeah.
I guess, I don't know, I don't even remember what I did that day.
That's not actually that bad.
It's not that bad, yeah.
Remember, we're trying to keep within like a 5 gram range. So you've had a little slip up. God, I've had days where I'm like 20 grams over or 30 grams over in protein.
Right, yeah. I mean, let's see, what were my total calories? Oh yeah, see, made up for it. I ended up being compliant that day. But then we go to yesterday, which is when I had... 103 grams of fats versus 90. I mean,
yeah, it's a little high.
That's a little bit up there. I mean, I wasn't too far over my calories. I'll make up for that later in the week. But, waking up this morning, I was, you can see that my weight went up by, 0.8 of a pound. I definitely felt watery, maybe the sodium, probably the lower fiber intake.
So do you know what your sodium intakes are normally compared to...
No, I don't usually track them.
Yeah, and that's not something that we would usually have clients track either, but it certainly can help to explain like why somebody has rapidly gained weight on a particular day. Obviously, when you're increasing sodium, you're going to then help balance out that solute load. We then tend to store a little bit more fluid, and then consequently our body weight goes up. So again, if I see a bit of a trend with someone's intakes, I just tend to remind them like, try to be steady throughout the week. And if you do go and eat out and have like a heap ton of soy sauce or like something that is super salty.
I got Indian takeout last night.
Oh yeah, that's exactly why you're feeling so fluffy this morning. Yeah. Don't worry, like by tomorrow we know that you'll be back to normal.
But that naan bread was so worth it.
God, that's something I really miss. I haven't been able, because I have celiac. I haven't really been able to enjoy like those like pizza or naan, like those types of foods. They don't really make gluten-free options that good anymore. So yeah, definitely a little bit jealous. So looking back to the previous week of dieting, because we obviously have had 2 days, it's Wednesday here now, so Noah's been on his diet break for 2 days, but we're kind of assessing last week's weight loss program. Do you want to run through your macros from the 15th through to the 22nd, just to talk through what you've done?
Yeah, so 2,450, that's starting to get like, not crazy low, not too difficult, but like, I really enjoy food, so like it kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I've got to start eating more voluminous foods, you know. I'm starting to eat salad again, which sucks.
I've actually seen Lane doing exactly the same thing. Lane, the whole BioLane team right now is like pretty much dieting, except for David. He's in a game phase. So.
Well, I feel like Lane and I are pretty similar. You know, if we could eat all our carbs and Haribo gummies, we would.
I don't know what it is about this crew, but they like their sweet candies.
Yeah, Lane's talking about on his Instagram story about eating 50 grams of sugar a day. I eat that for breakfast.
Good job, Noah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I mean, it's
balance.
It's proof you're still certainly able to lose weight, provided you're in a deficit. There's obviously caveats to health and things.
You need to make sure that your fiber's in check, macros are in check. I mean, you can't just. I still do all that.
Yeah.
And enjoy my sugar.
Yeah. So how many grams of fiber are you kind of aiming for at the moment?
I try to get 28 to 30 a day,
Yep.
and that's one thing that you'll take for granted. Once you, like, for me, I was on lower calories and now I'm back up on the diet break. It's a lot easier for me on 3,000 calories to hit my fiber than it is, like, I don't even have to think about it and I'll hit my fiber.
Yeah.
But when I'm on the lower calories, I kind of have to start thinking about it.
Yeah. So as your diet, your calorie intakes actually start to come down, it's actually normal to also reduce your fiber intake. I mean, that's something that I kind of strategize with clients because it does become really, really difficult to kind of hit the same fiber intakes. And usually we recommend somewhere between, say, 14 to 15 grams of fiber per 1,000 calories. So Noah's intakes are pretty on the lower end, on the conservative end for where he is at currently, but as we start to kind of diet him down, we'll kind of bring those down so it's more manageable for you. But what we do tend to see is that the hungrier you get, you're going to cross this little threshold where your calories are that low that now you're just wanting to have more and more and more fiber. So there's like a little changeover, and I think it'll probably happen for you when we get down to around the 2,200 calorie mark.
I don't want to think about it.
You'll be probably hitting really consistently around 30 grams every day, just because you're looking for those filling food sources.
Well, you know what? My hunger hasn't been that bad. I'm starting to work in more voluminous foods kind of to practice for when my targets get lower, but the hunger hasn't been that bad, and I'm like 10 pounds down.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, and that's I think a really good thing, like ingraining those habits, and especially like for people in the off season, you know, practicing good dietary habits then, so making high protein choices, trying to be consistent with fiber, it really does set you up for a much better or a more successful dieting phase if you've already built those habits into your routine in your off season. So it's good to see that you're actually still practicing that. So it looks like you were dead on with your protein this week. Your carbohydrate target was 260 and your average was 263, which is excellent. And you've buried those fats as well. You're within that 5 gram range, which is really cool. So
overall, a pretty compliant week.
Yeah, if you have a look here, Noah's gone from his average weekly weigh-in from the previous week was at 198.7, and he's dropped all the way down to 195.7. So if we go and have a look at his target rate of loss, Noah is looking to lose about 1.6 pounds per week. So what have we done here? You've annihilated that. That was a pretty aggressive deficit for you, and we didn't make any changes to that. So that kind of says to me that for your next fat loss phase, we may not even have to drop lower than 260 again for your carbs and 72 fats.
This is why you take care of your metabolism in the off season.
Yeah, so Noah's done a really good job at reversing during his off season, so he's responding really well, which is awesome. So real quick, just to help with your understanding of how we actually came to determining Noah's maintenance calories, I compared this to the Mueller equation, and then I also had a look at what his actual weight loss was over the past 3 weeks of dieting, and then there's a lot of math actually. So
I actually got a message in my Instagram inbox. Somebody asked me about what their diet break calories should be, and I was like, I'm gonna need a lot of information to like determine this. I can't just do this over an Instagram DM.
Right, and that's the thing. It is quite complicated if you're wanting to be accurate. So what I would recommend doing is, if you're not following or subscribed to my channel already, please do so. And later this week, I'll actually be putting up a video, as I mentioned earlier, that will help you calculate your maintenance during your diet breaks, because it does adjust and it does change. And I do talk about this in my series. So yeah. I think that's probably all for this week. Noah's going to go ahead and continue to enjoy the smorgasbord of 3,000 calories that he has to choose from.
I can't wait.
You're going to have to come to like a sushi buffet with us or something soon.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Alrighty, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. As I said, subscribe, like our stuff, buy our stuff. Everything is in the description below.